told. Today we are updating the Faerie Pranks. Ooh, a lot of changes to this bad boy is gonna happen. But we want to make the deck better for standard ranked play. Use better cards. Usually Magic, they don't give you the best cards or the best layout or that, and we're gonna optimize this deck for you guys, for your free decks, and hopefully you won't have to spend that many wild cards to craft some things. There's a few things that we're gonna be removing, like we're gonna be taking out this Slumber Party. The full deck list will be in the description, by the way, on Moxfield, where you can just export it from Moxfield and import it in. And just be careful. They might have auto craft crafting cards, so just be aware of what they're telling you that's going to be crafted and what's not going to be crafted. So yeah, let's just start by taking out the cards that we're not going to use. Faerie Slumber Party, 6 mana, way too expensive. Drag the Canal, it makes a detective, probably belongs in the detective deck, doesn't belong in this deck. Our mythic rare is Talon, the Kindly Lord. It's a good card. It's Fairy, noble. You choose a number between 1 and 10, and whenever opponent casts a spell or puts a creature in play with that number, so you're usually choosing like 1, 2, or 3, most likely, they will lose 2 life and you draw a card. So this is a pretty good mythic rare for us. And then we got a couple other Talon the Messenger. It'd be nice to have more of these in the deck, as it's probably one of the best non-legendary fairies to have. And Roaming Throne, obviously we're going to be choosing fairies. A couple of the 3 steps ahead. Well, you could leave it in. I don't know. I just don't think it fits in this deck. At least it doesn't fit with my playstyle. I don't really like playing counter spells that much, and you could leave it in if you want, if that's the kind of player you are. I'm also taking out these counter spells, and you can do that. You can leave those in if you want. You don't have to do what I suggest. But the Picklock Puncture, we're going to leave the same. Obra, the Dreaming Duelist, we're going to leave at a 2. The Deduce, we're going to leave at a 2. Like, we're just stripping out the rares. Sleep Cursed Fairy, too slow for this deck. Too much of a hindrance. It doesn't give you as much as you could, as you need, So to wait 3 turns for it to untap, or maybe sink mana into it, it's not that great. Yeah. Quick Study, we're going to drop that down by 1, if I look at my notes. It's a good card. We don't need that much card draw, type of thing. The Dream Thief, Fairy Dream Thief. 1 mana for a 1/1 flyer with Surveil. It's a great card, much better than a 3 mana card that excuse me, discounts our sorceries and instants. We're just gonna go with 4 of those. And apparently Magic isn't cooperating today. And we're gonna take out this Sprite, right? And then there's another one. This one is a 1 mana, 1/1, and when it enters, so it's for 3 mana, you could tap down an opponent's creature and put a stun counter on it. It's not that great. Would rather have, more of these Borrows of Naughty. Naughty. It's a 1/3 flyer for 2 mana. Pretty great stats right there alone. And then if you have another fairy in play, including like if you have 2 of these out, they get lifelink. And then you could spend 3 mana to give them +1/+1. Probably you're going to forget about that. I certainly did. Probably. But, that way you can give extra damage. But either way, we're going to be using some other things like the banner from, what the hell is it called? Bloomburrow? Right? So we're going to be adding in, the Bloomburrow, the Patchwork Banner, which you choose Fairy, and then all fairies are going to get +1/+1, and then it's also a mana rock, where you can add a colorless mana, and so that way, these become 2/4s, flying with lifelink. we could take out this Coven, 2/3 flyer. We're gonna have 2/4 flyers for 2 mana, as opposed to a 2. It would be a 3/5, but 2/3 mana for 4. Bye bye. Breaking it down, they have like a few more cards left. One of the things about this deck is that they don't have the prank in there, right? They have the Picklock Prankster, but the Wrinkles prank came in the Humans deck. I forget what it's called. So you have that in your set. Might as well add it in, because you gotta have a prank in there. And then there's another one that came in the Detectives deck that I think fits really good. The Prof's Eidetic Memory, right? So that came in the Detectives deck whenever you have no maximum hand size, blah, 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 blah. But at the beginning of combat, if you draw more than one card this turn, put +1/+1 counters on creatures. So that's just one way for us to give the naughty +1/+1 counters. What draws us cards? We have Quick Study, we have Deduce, we have the Clue token from Deduce, we have any Dream Thieves that are in our graveyard, draws us cards. Talon, this doesn't really, it draws cards, but it's kind of in the wrong time frame because it's after you attack. So we have a number of things that draws us extra cards, and we could use that to pump up our guys. So it's a free card. You have it in your set. Came in the Detectives free decks. We did take out some other rares, so we're just replacing them with other rares that you already have, right? And then what is next? Ah, yes, removal. So they have arguably 6 bits of removal. So even though we're playing black, I like this Stasis field a lot. I think it fits really good in this deck. It turns the opponent's creature into a 0/2 defender that loses all their abilities. So all our creatures minus the Roaming Throne have flying. So this basically gets rid of their creature, right? It just turns it into a creature that can block, can't attack you, and loses their abilities, and pretty much makes them useless. So we're gonna replace that with the Faerie Fencing and freeze in place type of thing. I just don't think it has any merit. The Faerie Fencing is good if you have a fairy out. If you don't have a fairy out, it doesn't do anything, and you need mana, and it doesn't help you out in the beginning of the game. This, you have two mana. So Faerie Fencing, if you had 2 mana, you would give one creature -1/-1. This completely removes the creature. It gets rid of mono red. They have those creatures that they can when they die, they do damage to you, or what's that other one? Aclazotz comes out. How are you going to deal with that, right? Yeah, so you put a Stasis field on Aclazotz. If it dies, if they sweep the board somehow, it doesn't turn into a land. It just gets removed because it doesn't have any abilities. So it's just a great way to remove that. And then another card that we're going with the removal. This one, I prefer this one. It's kind of like Murder, but it can target Planeswalker or creatures. So for 2 mana, and if you exile 3 cards from your graveyard, because we're not going to have any food tokens, or you pay 2 black and 1 colorless, so 3 mana to destroy a creature or Planeswalker. So ideally, we'd have cards in our graveyard to exile, so that way this is cheaper. But it does play well, maybe later in the game. Oh, I haven't put it in yet. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. There's one more card. The Halo Forger. Oh, it's right there. How about that? Yeah, we're forging. Adding in some forging. Getting rid of these sleight of hands. They don't draw us cards. Number 1, that's the whole thing. Number 2, they're sorcery, so we have to cast it on our turn. Oof, it just doesn't have the synergies that we're looking for, right? Like, we want to draw cards. We want to, get this, all the cards that we can that are drawing us, we want it to work with that. We have Sheldred's Protection, so, bye-bye. But the other card is the Halo Forger, right? So the Halo Forger is a 3/1 flyer, and it costs 3 mana, and you could pay X when you cast it, and you could play a target instant or sorcery from your graveyard without paying the mana cost, and then you would exile that card instead. So you can cast Feed the Cycle, so you could pay 5 mana to cast the Halo Forger, cast Feed the Cycle, from your graveyard, forage cards out of your graveyard or pay that extra mana for 6 mana, or you can cast something like Deduce for 5 mana. Right, you get the Halo Forger and a free Deduce, basically, or just recasting the Deduce from your graveyard, and then you draw those cards, or you do a Quick Study for 6 mana. The Halo Forger gives us some really great ways to get some extra value out of our deck. And then there's one more card. I think I missed something, but I know how to type. Zafferin's Shapecraft is one more card that we want to add in for a card draw effect. And also just a little extra sneaky, pranky trick, right? Because this is a Faerie Pranks deck, and we want some pranks in there. And this is one of our pranks, is we turn our 1/3 lifelinker into a 4/3 lifelinker for 2 mana, and we draw a card. And so, there's some options. If you do it before the attack phase, if they don't have blockers, you can cast it before you attack and get an extra bonus with that. Or you can do it as a trick to, do it later on, maybe finish them off. And then, I feel like I'm missing a card. Oh yeah, I got one more fairy to add in. The Pixie Illusionist. Because when you're looking at it, you have 17 fairies, or 17 creatures, rather. We really want that number to be, you always want it to be close to 18, usually, in the creature deck. Like, if you're not playing control. So we're going to add in the Pixie Illusionist. It's a 1/1 for 1 mana, flying. Sure, it's not that great, but if you kick it, so if you pay 5 mana to cast it, with green mana, so you need the Patchwork Banner, and you need another card that I'm going to ask you to craft. But you don't need to craft it. F-O-U-N-T. The Fountain Port is, I think, a great land to craft. So if you're going to craft something, I would craft that land. Over the sewer, right? Like, and I want to, you could leave the sewers in, but I'm trying to keep the deck, to the same number of rares, trying to keep it the way it is. And so for my rare land, I would rather have the Fountain Port. It just gives you more flexibility when you're, sitting there twiddling your thumbs. You can make a treasure, you can make a fish, you could sack a treasure or a fish to draw a card, and that's another draw card outlet that gives you something for like the memory, or like it doesn't really help with the deduces because they both cost 2, so it doesn't really help for that because you could just sack that. But let's say they hit you with some map tokens, right? They tell you to get lost, give you 2 map tokens. That's 2 free card draw, right? So that's why I kind of like having that one as our rare land in the deck. And, that would be the one thing you need to cast. And so with that, now you have the Patchwork Banner. Get all these fairies up together. So you have the Patchwork Banner, and you have the Fountain Port as your 2 green sources of mana that you can, if you draw the Illusionist later in the game, now you can get a 3/3 body on the board. Sure, you can tap a land to become a basic type. So if you have 1 Pixie Illusionist on the board, you can tap that one to make a forest, and then you would have your green mana. Sure, you could do that. But most likely you're just going to be using the banner to do that other part. And it comes down on turn 1, right? Like, so that's kind of why we're doing that, over some of the other fairies that we remove, right? Like, we put this one out, can't attack or block on turn 1, right? Like, we just want to get rid of that. Yeah. And then we will just fix the lands. This little land suggestion. And then it drops it down to 24 lands, and then we're good. So yeah, those are the changes for the deck. Let's get in some games. I'll see if I can show you how to navigate it. And yeah, remember that the deck list is in the description. And so you should be able to grab that and then import it in. And just remember, watch those auto crafts. If you don't want to craft a Founding Port, don't craft it. Just take it out of the deck and, put in the other land that was there. But yeah. This looks better. Still not great. New land. I don't know if we go Fairy, probably. Is this a tap land? Yes, that's fine. They probably have removal too, most likely. Yeah, where were you at last game? I need that vigilance. What do you do? Nothing. Ah, we'll just die. Yes. I don't know if 1 point of damage is gonna matter. They most likely have removal. Have 5 power on board, 6 damage when they attack in. And then, you know, they'll gain a life. We'll block with 2 guys. We can't kill it, so we'll gain life. And they trying to hit a land drop? They did hit a land drop. Good for them. So we could feed the cycle. We can patchwork banner into deduce. Are we playing defense? Really sucks to play defense. 2, 4, 5, 6. We're gonna take 2 damage and give them 4 damage. Can just no attacks. We'll wait 1 turn. Next turn we'll do 6 damage. Deduce. Maybe banner. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Still short. They could still have combat tricks. They did their 1 damage with the land, so they get their free card. Has to go get off the race. What are you doing? Do you have something like spell? Yes, can I pass through blockers? I mean, unless you have like a death trick or something. You just gave me 4 life. Thanks. I mean, you already did damage with the land. I don't think they realized it. I think we feed the cycle on this Valley Rot Collar. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. I cast that and then I have 3 mana available. Yeah. Draw a card. It's fine. So we can banner. Faerie. And then attack in with 1 guy. 2, 4, 5. We keep 5 damage at bay if we just attack with 1. Right? They don't have black mana available. I'm gonna take this guy out. So, you know, there's that 1 protection spell. Indestructibility. Right. +2, +0, and indestructibility. Alright. We're 1 mana short from casting this. Okay. What did they hit? Sonic Ruckus. 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That looks pretty good. Well, that's a fairy, so we can put this out. Main phase it. Put this out. The kicker. And we can attack in. Pretty devastating. Lethal on board next turn with 15 damage. We're at 26 life. That's why we went all in with the life linkers. You know, you get them pumped up with the banner, life linker combo. You know. What do we do? No blocks? They're digging. We're all flying. Got the W. Mono. Hope you're playing one color. No creatures? Probably should mulligan this hand, but opponent goes first. Yeah, probably just a loss. No reason to mulligan, it's already a loss. The banner? Or the stasis field. We go second, and they attack our hand with a spell that can hit every single spell we can cast. Huh. We won't be needing this. All I need is discard two more spells, and yeah, we're flooded pretty much. We got 9 cards and 5 lands. Oh geez, I guess I'll just exile one of these extra lands. Since the maximum mana that we need is 4. Oh geez, I guess I'll get rid of one of these lands. And I will pass. Oh, out of discard spells. Let me just draw 2 cards for 1. Halo Forger for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 6. I'm gonna keep it. Alright, 18 turns until you're dead.
No more distractions.
Target creature.
Off you go.
I think we'll do the Dream Thief. So Liliana's dead next turn unless they have removal? Halo Forger, we still want to wait on? Because they're going to attack our hand, we're going to get rid of the island. Quick study into Duelist. Do they have removal or they just have... okay. Well, I mean, they're gonna get a Shelly eventually, right? The Deuce is cheaper. Murder? You might have needed that card. One, two, three, four, 5.
My zombies and leave.
Huh. We could do this. And we'll pay 2. Take action, yeah. The Deuce. This pretty much draws 2 cards. Ooh, and Shapecrafting replaces itself. They might have another Liliana? I don't know. fact that they're willing to get rid of their murder means they probably have more removal spells? I don't know. Huh. We'll get rid of this pixie, I guess. I mean, eventually they're going to drop their Sheldred, right? Like, that's what they're waiting on doing. That's a pretty good one. Draw more cards? Don't mind if I do. We will put it on this one. Maybe I messed up. I guess we're putting this guy out. Oh, maybe we just hold? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll just put this guy out. Why not? They could have Sweeper, I guess. That would be devastating. Nice. I guess I get to get anything from our graveyard. Just a Sheldred, huh? That's fine. I think we still win. Draw a card. Start with this. Then we'll draw a card. This. With this. 8. 4. It's still not enough. Right? I think we still do this. Put him to 3. I get another Dream Thief in the graveyard. I get to draw 2 Dream Thieves next turn. They're at 3. They need to sweep the board or something. I don't even know. A whole lot of nothing, baby. Too much discard you got in your hand. Faerie's getting it done. See the edict, eidetic memory, not edict, eidetic memory. Yeah, just slow playing it, controlling it, saving our stasis field for Sheldred as necessary. Got the Dream Thief into no land? Into nothing? Surveil into a land, hopefully? A blue land? Or any land. Blue land it is. I could deduce the opponent's turn. Let's see what Violet's doing. Stasis field. Feed the cycle we can't use at all because it's double black. Without having stuff in the graveyard. So maybe it's not as good of a card as I think if you don't have food. So maybe we need food. There's that one that's like -2/-2 and gives you food. Right? I might do one over block here. Good Mockingbird. I don't mind. This is a pretty good move. Copy this bat. I think Zorline's pretty good. could stasis field or line. So maybe the sonar was the better move. Oh, they just got another one. How about that? What a top deck. Huh. That's pretty good. This is a tapped creature. The Quest Caller. Still looking for that black mana. What a weird card to add in. No blocks. Fuck you. I guess we'll just pitch this blue land. I guess, or maybe it could have been the Halo Forger. I don't know. What are you looking at? I mean, they could just not block it, and then they're just giving me 4 damage, and I'm giving them nothing. I guess next turn it's getting bigger. Target attacking or blocking creature. Yep. Just couldn't get rid of it, huh? So you pretty much need 5 for that. Maybe we should just put this out. I don't know. Really just want to get more cards in my hand, right? I can make a treasure token at 4. Well, maybe I should have attacked with the bat. I don't know. I mean, I'm still waiting on that mana. I mean, I'd much rather draw, right? This is 4 damage. Oh, there's a bat. Struggling to stay alive because we're mana screwed, sort of. Yeah, we definitely should have took. I don't know if we should have took that Lunar Convocation. Still wouldn't have an answer to Zorline. Right? Talon can't block. We get to kill the Quest Caller next turn. No blocks. Is this damage land? They don't have a way to give themselves pain without drawing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We Could just get rid of the quest caller, I think. That's pretty good. Ah, you tap my black mana? You son of a... What are you gonna do? Kill it? Draw a card. This is like whenever you attack with one or more fairies, so it's not a fairy. And so we feed the cycle, kill the bat. Feed the cycle, killed the duo. Yeah. Play this. I have 3 cards in my graveyard only. Oh, you didn't kick it? What? Was this draw and then discard? Sure. Take action. Pay 3. 2, huh? Auto pay. Draw and discard. Oh, but you can kill a tapped guy, but I get to draw and discard though. Oh, those are some good ones. I think the banner's better in the long run. We'll put it here, I guess. They can block, they can't block. They could just, you know, do the damage and then gain 3 life. Yeah. Unless they drew a second one. Just to get a bat. It's a good move. But is it a bad move though? Does this draw me a card? So just put it here. We could save the edict for next turn. We can sack a clue. We can make a fish. We can draw a card. That's a tough one, but it can't block. They're at 18 now, they gain life. And then they get their Zorline back. And that's just problems. We're just dead with that draw. What a draw. And we're drawing crap. Doesn't matter. I think I needed to block the bat, I guess. Oh, maybe not. 3, we got 3 black. Maybe I could have held that in my hand. That was a good discard target. That's a good one. 3 attackers. Gain life back. While I draw a card. I think we have to take this guy out, right? I think we have to. I mean, they get another guy back, but it's only 1 damage. We could draw a card with this if we're not at 1. I take 1 damage, 2 damage, 3 damage. This is a bat. 4 damage. We're just dead. Too much life gain. Too much life gain. And we're back. Did pretty good. Did all right. 50% win rate. You know, that's pretty good for a free deck. And just with a few adjustments. I did end up taking out the bird, is the word, and going with 2 Halo Forgers, and then adding in a 4th Feed the Cycle just to have more removal. You know, so we have 7 bits of removal. I did take out the equipment to buff, you know, the borrower. Yeah, you definitely could go with more patchwork banners, but you know the deck's doing what it's meant to do. You know, you have a little bit of green mana production with this, and the Fountain Port could make a treasure, I suppose. You know, taking out that one. You know, adding in that Halo Forger allows us the ability to, you know, 5 mana deduce, or you know, 5 mana feed the cycle with a forage of exiling 3 cards from our graveyard, right? Or just 6 mana, you know, to recast that, just giving us more recastability. And, you know, 6 mana for a quick study, you know, not the best. So that would be a question, like, should we just do the deuce? But, you know, for the eidetic memory, 3 mana is cheaper than 4 mana, right? So, although maybe you don't want to do it all in one go. So, that, you know, that could be a question. It'll just go 4 the deuces over to quick studies. But we don't really have anything that's bargaining or using artifacts. So yeah, that's the deck. Try it out. It's much better than the original. So yeah, this has been Told. Like and subscribe. See you next time.